Hey guys, I hope you guys had a very happy, very enjoyable Christmas, and I didn't do anything, but I just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone for watching my video. I really appreciate it, especially my regular viewers. I've been reading about Martin Luther King lately and reading about his sermons. Martin Luther King didn't preach any discrimination or hate against any other group. He was religious, but I found that his faith was really admirable, even though I'm not religious. And he did not use the religion to divide people into different groups. And Martin Luther King not only talked about race issue, he also talked about the war against poverty and how he believed in the dignity of all work, and that they should be able to have a job that they can live and educate their children and buy a home and have the basic necessity of life. So he was arguing for not only racial equality but also about social justice, and I found that a very refreshing. And Martin Luther King Jr. also rejected the notion that we get to where we are, we become accomplished, we have all these wealth based on our own individual effort. He talked about how we get to where we are because of the help of others. How if you get up in the morning and you go to the bathroom and you reach over for a sponge, and that's given to you by a Pacific Islander. If you reach over for a towel, that's given to you by a Turk. If you reach down to pick up the soap, and that's given to you by a Frenchman. So he's basically saying how before you finish eating breakfast in the morning, you are dependent on more than half of the world. And he told us that we shouldn't forget it. We shouldn't forget that, even though we think of manual workers as ordinary person doing an ordinary job, but they're doing extraordinary work. He talked about how the black man has produced the wealth of the nation, and how the nation doesn't have the sense to share its wealth and its power with the very people who made it. And I think that's not only applied to the black community, but applied to all the working class people who have helped, do all the heavy lifting, but not getting their share of the wealth. And it's, that kind of preaching is just as relevant as today. And of course, during the later year of the last year of Dr. King's life, he was very much opposed to the Vietnam War, and he said that America was wrong in having the mentality of being, I must be supreme, I must be the ruler, and I must be and he said how God didn't call America to do what she's doing to the world right now. God didn't call America to engage in senseless, unjust war as the war in Vietnam. And he said, we are criminal in that war. We committed more war crimes almost than any nation in the world. And I'm going to continue to say it, he said. And we don't stop it because our pride and our arrogance as a nation. He even said God has a way of even putting nation in their place. And that is really significant, because that reminds me of earlier this year when Jeremiah Wright was taped and publicized as saying, "God damn America." Dr. King knew he was going to die. If you were reading his last sermon, he knew that he has seen the mountaintop, but he might not get to see the promised land, and he knew that he was going to be assassinated. He said that in his funeral, he doesn't want to be told or mentioned that he won a Nobel Peace Prize or that he got these or that award. He wanted to be able to be remembered as a person who gave his life serving others, who said that he tried to love somebody, who said that he tried to be right in a war question, to be able to say that he did try to feed the hungry, and he was able to say that day that I did try in my best in my life to clothe those who are naked. And what was amazing was that Martin Luther King never talked about issues like abortion or how homosexuality was a sin, and how actually his closest associate was a homosexual, and he was able to work with him, and And I think that regardless if he supported homosexuality or not, he was definitely not using homosexuals or using communists or other unpopular groups as a way to attack them, to make his own self feel more superior. He was the person that unites with others, and I think that is something that we're not seeing in today's churches.